Today we are looking at the CR2 Ettercap that was selected by the members of my YouTube channel. And thanks to them, let's go ahead and dive into this monster. Right off the bat, we're going to start from the top down, and we're going to go ahead and start with that AC-13 that our medium monstrosity spider person thing has. Again, we have medium here, and as I've stated before, the medium is only there for dice purposes. From there, we're going to go ahead and add in the 8d8. So we're going to switch that 1 to an 8. And then we will go ahead and skip over the rest of this information here as we don't need it and move into the stats here. So we'll go ahead and throw in the 14 strength, 15 dexterity, 13 constitution, 7 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and 8 charisma. After that, I like to throw in the CR of our monster. We are expecting it to be a CR2, which is important, again, for various factors of the tool and stuff like frightened, resistances, immunities. Don't use those. And a few other items here. Now that we have our stats out of the way, we can skip over the features here because there's nothing important. So we'll jump right down into the traits. Our first trait is Spider Climb, and this does nothing to impact the CR. So we can skip over that and go to Webwalker, and also skip over that one as well because they just don't do anything. And if you go back to the old 2014 DMG and you go back to the custom monster rules, you'll see that at least one of these, probably both of them, are in the monsters feature and they just have a little slash indicating nothing happens. Now that the traits are out of the way, we can take a look at the actions. Our first action is the multi-attack, which we all use indirectly without claiming we're using the multi-attack as GMs. Which is going to be like, oh, I bite and then I claw, but technically we're doing a multi-attack. From that, we are making one bite attack and one claw attack. So let's go ahead and look at both of these attacks. Our bite and claw are both using a +4 to attack, which is coming from strength or dexterity. Doesn't really matter which. And we'll go ahead and increase our attack bonus in the tool here, which, again, very important. Sometimes I forget that one. Next, we'll look at the damage dice and any riders that the attacks may have. Our first attack from the bite ends up rolling a 1d6 plus, again, strength or dex. Doesn't really matter. It's going to throw strength in there because it's the first one. We do have a rider of 1d4 poison damage. So make those changes there. It gives us 2.5. And then the target is also poisoned until the Ettercap's next turn. Due to that, I'm going to go over here to a special section on my tool, which shows a bunch of conditions, and since we are poisoned here, we'll see that it's indicating for us to use the stench or extra AC from the monster trait above. Since the poison condition is until the start of the Ettercap's next turn, technically this is only one round, but because we're looking at the best case scenarios and it technically is constantly happening with every attack, I'm just going to go ahead and use the stench to add in the +1 AC bonus here. So we'll throw on the stench, which is from the troglodyte example, gives us a +1 effective AC bump, and then that's our bite attack. So we've got some poison damage, we've got the poison condition, and we have the damage from the initial piercing damage. Moving on to the next attack, we have claw, and this is just straight damage here. And this is going to be 2d4 plus the strength damage, giving us a total of 7. And then lastly, we also have Web Strand, recharges on a 5 or 6. We have the Dex Saving Throw DC 12, which, when we compare that to a 4 attack bonus, they're pretty much even. So, we have the 13 DC here. On a failure, the target's restrained, and we only deal one creature, the webbed condition. So this is going to be better off used as either an escape mechanism or wrap up any targets that may have been knocked out to a point that they were easily able to be captured. So in essence, I probably am not going to throw in the web strand, although the web strand does work with the bonus action to reel. That could be a good way to, again, if a target has been weakened enough, then you could web strand, reel them in, and run off. Because, let's see here, we have 30-foot climb and 30-foot movement speed, which could be useful for getting away once we have a bit of prey. Now that we have all of that kind of worked out, let's go ahead and throw our multi-attack together. And we're going to go ahead and work out our first attack here of the bite plus the poison, which is going to work out to be, I think, 8, plus our 7 from the claw attack, and then our multi-attack is just the combination of the two, which is going to net us at 15 points of damage. Doesn't really seem like a whole heck of a lot, but this is only a CR2 monster, so we're not looking for anything too terribly crazy. At the moment, we're only going to bother with the attacks, and maybe on the 4th round of combat, we'll end up using the web strand. So, first off, with the multi-attack, we're going to end up having ourselves a CR2 in offenses and a CR1 quarter in defenses. With an AC of 13 and only 44 hit points, this is abysmally low, which means our attacks should be much higher. Well, one thing we can look at here then is we're going to go ahead and remove the attacks from the multi-attack for each of these. We're going to go ahead and add the multi-attacks into 1st and 2nd slots, and then we'll take a look at the webbed condition, which we should have right down here. As from the giant spider, this is going to give us a +1 effective AC bonus when we web something, and then we're going to reel it in and run off with it. And technically, it's the same. We're still getting a CR1 Ettercap, which means our attacks need to be much better. Or we need to increase the hit points and defenses of this Ettercap, because that's really terrible. Alright, let's go back to no webbing. And let's just say we're going to use the web in a sense of when we want to run off with some prey. Like we've caught something and we're going to, or we've knocked something unconscious and we're going to web that prey up and run away with it. And we've been successful with that. So this is going to be the basis of this particular instance of the monster being run here. We're going to go ahead and modify a few things. First of all, we're going to go back to how it looked here with the concentration. We're going to increase the damage, and we're also going to increase the hit points because we need to hit a CR2, and right now we only have a CR1. If we look at the creature's image, technically it might have a chitin carapace. You know, some spiders kind of have that harder outer exterior. So right off the bat, I'd say let's go ahead and bump up the AC to at least a 15. By doing this, we're going to increase our effective AC from a 1/4 to a 1/2. This isn't going to change the CR1 at anything right now because we are currently now properly balanced between the 2 and the 1/2, giving us a CR1. Now to properly get the CR up to a 2, we're going to need to really increase the damage, which means we can do a couple different things. One, we can add in another claw attack because, well, the Ettercap has 2 claws and it has a bite. This is a very standard combination of bite, claw, claw. So let's see what happens when we do that. We'll go ahead and multiply our claw by 2. And we've bumped up our offenses slightly. And I like this, but it's not quite there. Technically, we're at 1.5. And if you were to average out these by replacing the 1/2 with a 0 and then doing the averages normally, you obviously get a 1/2 from a 3. Right now, the tool is fudging everything up. It's averaging up because it's math and it's not combat math. Combat math, you round down. Healing math, you round down. Regular math, we round up. Therefore, we need to do one of two things. We can either make this Ettercap even more deadly by increasing the offenses again, but I don't want to necessarily do that because then we get this really powerful swingy monster that has a great ability to knock out players but may not last very long. Or, which is what I'm going to do here, we're going to increase the hit points ever so slightly, just a skosh, and we'll have an Ettercap that can survive a little longer, deals a little bit more damage, and then can run off with its dinner once it's wrapped something up. With that in mind, let's go ahead and increase our hit dice. Generally speaking, 2, 3, 4, anywhere between 2 to 4 is probably going to be a good range of how to increase hit dice. So the best bet, start small, move up from there. In this case, I'm going to move it from 8 hit dice to 10, and we'll see that was perfectly enough. To review, in order to fix this Ettercap, we have to do 3 things. 1, add a claw attack. So now we go from 1 bite and 1 claw to 1 bite, 2 claws. 2, we increase the AC by 2 from a 13 to a 15. And then 3, We also increased the hit dice from an 8 to a 10. So now instead of having 44 hit points, we have 55. We also have technically a +1 effective AC bonus to a 16 for our AC because of the poison condition. And we're not really worrying about Web Strand because you should be saving that for victory or trying to escape. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. You've been amazing. My patrons and members have been amazing. And I'll see you in the next one. Want to see even more? Join the community on Patreon or YouTube memberships and get early access to my videos, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and a say in what monsters I review next. Click the link in the description to get started.